Shocking. They called me a janitor at the gala, so I canceled their $500 million merger. Black tie gala for my family's company, crystal, and cameras everywhere. Me in a clearance suit with a facility sticker and a tray. I want to keep my cover, map their scheme, decide if I walk away or burn it down. Dad and my golden boy brother plan to sell mom's legacy, freeze me out, call me the janitor with a smile. My logs, metadata, and shell stack proof flip the board votes to me. On stage, I kill their $500 million merger. Public, surgical, final. I take the mic while my brother's glass hangs midair. I'm the counterparty. The deal is off. Security, lights up. Boom. $500 million dies on stage. The room snaps from sparkle to courtroom. Phones up. Whispers like bees. Reef bridge blinking. Dad's jaw remembering gravity. That's the headline. I canceled a $500 million merger live with receipts. And yeah, my last name is on the plaque behind me. I just nuked my own family's victory lap in public in tuxedo lighting. 5 minutes ago, I was the janitor in a clearance suit with a sticker. Now, I'm the guy holding the off switch on their legacy. Fun week. Okay, back up 12 hours. We've got mom's legacy on the line, my reputation on a spit, thousands of jobs, and more legal tripwires than a bank vault. Also, yes, I'm the one in the cheap suit pouring bubbles. I showed up anyway. Tray in hand, smile like a knife. Let's start where it hurts. Tray, name tag, knife smile. The gala smells like money and overripe peonies. Cameras blink. Donors practice laughs. PR sharks circle clutches of board members like they can taste stock options through perfume. My suit? Clearance rack polyester that whispers when I move. The sticker on my chest reads, Evan, Facilities. It sticks better than most family bonds. A cater waiter hands me a silver tray. I take it. My palm already knows the balance. Glasses quiver like they sense the joke. Dad is 10 feet away, alabaster smile. Cufflinks that cost someone's tuition. He sees through people, not at them. My brother, Cal, gleams. Perfect bow tie, perfect teeth, perfect appetite for other people's ladders. He claps a donor on the shoulder like he invented gravity. I am the fixer they pretend not to know. Useful when servers crash, invisible when cameras flash. Hey janitor, someone says behind a napkin. I turn just enough to register the voice, not enough to break the bid. I pass them sparkling water. Still or sparkling? I say. You look like bubbles. The lie I'm telling myself is simple. Take the insult, keep the mask, let them have their party. Don't set anything on fire tonight. I repeat it like a mantra. It sounds calm in my head. It tastes like rust. I drift the tray through pockets of conversation. Sell mom's trust. That phrase lands like a glass chip in my ear. I pivot left. Dad's general counsel is hunched with reef bridge haircuts, suits with shark fin vents. Bridge loan hits it close, one says. If Evan balks, we force delegation. They laugh a little too loud. He's not on board, another whispers. My smile finds its edge. I don't blink. Facilities, a PR handler chirps, tapping my sticker like I'm a screen. Ice run, please. Sure. I step away, then pause by the photo wall. Flash, flash. In one mirrored lens, I catch a reflection of Cal's folio open on the table. Corner of a term sheet peeks out. Timestamp glints off a phone face. Plant that for later. I drift again. At the check-in desk, QR wristbands get scanned like cattle tax. The beep they make is too familiar. I built that back end 5 years ago when they needed temporary event infrastructure and a way to map donor heat. No one killed my dev backdoor because no one remembered I made one. Familiar sin. Still need that ice? I ask a handler. She waves me off. I slide along the wall near the coat check light. Cold air breathes through the revolving door. Bass from the ballroom thumps under the tile, like a second heartbeat. My fingers feel numb. Not fear. Calculation burns hotter than nerves. I pass my brother bussing a handshake. He doesn't see me. I bus his table. Bread plates, a lipstick rim, a note folded under the charger. I pocket the napkin like a magician. It crackles. Reef bridge sign at toast. Docu delegates. Mom's claws neutralized. I keep moving. Heat hits my ears. My jaw sets. Someone taps my shoulder. Can you grab more shrimp? We're low. Cool story. I head toward the kitchen. Plant a small AirTag clone under Cal's folio strap as I pass the table again. If the folio moves, I'll see it. If it walks to the forgery room, I'll meet it there. Backstage, I skim the guest list on a tablet left at the AV booth. Old login pattern. Muscle memory types before doubt can, in. I scan names, look for call signs. 12. Burner number texting clock starts at toast. I copy it to my notes, lock the screen, breathe once. On the floor again, I'm pouring water for a donor who calls me son, like it's both insult and nostalgia. Across the room, the PR team snaps candidates. Their Nikon spits a soft click, a whir. The photographer swings to catch Cal's grin, Reef Bridges smirk, the folio on the table, its corner flashing, the term sheet reflection living in the polished brass of a centerpiece. Photo metadata always tells you more than the subject. It puts things in time the way memory wishes it could. Evan, facilities, the sticker says when I glance down. Fine. Wear the mask. Keep the lie. Verify before you strike. I pivot to the coat check. Cold slices my cheeks. Hangers clack like dull wind chimes. I borrow the attendant's tablet with a quick inventory check joke. She smiles, relieved to be noticed. I log into the staging portal I built, and they forgot. Audit trails blink awake. IPs, PDFs of board proxies, time-stamped signatures. One DocuSign delegation doesn't line up. Latency off, GPS mismatch, the wrong font kerning on trustee, a seam where there shouldn't be one. I close the tablet as a CFO assistant steps in. Counting hangers, I say. We lose 3 an hour to panic coats. She laughs without asking what that means. She leaves. I pocket the napkin like a reliquary. My mask holds. The tray feels heavier now, but steadier. The world just tilted a degree, and most people never feel that. I do. Okay, verify everything. Then decide how hot the fire gets. Recon at the coat check, the quiet pull. The coat check hums like a fridge. Cold air slides under the door and licks my ankles. Hangers clack in uneven bursts. The ballroom bass comes through the wall, muted thuds, like someone testing a locked door. I set the tray on a shelf and breathe once. Goal is simple. Confirm shell structure, voting math, who holds the kill switch. If it's forged, I don't need to scream. I just need to point. The attendant watches me with that tired party smile. I tilt my sticker at her like a badge. Inventory check, I say. We were told to match claim tags to coats every hour. She groans. Finally, people keep swapping. She hands me the tablet like it's a hot pan. I nod like I've earned it. Fingerprint muscle memory does the rest. Old dev portal. Staging subdomain, no one remembers. 2 taps to bypass SSO. I wrote for a pop-up Gala in 2019. Backdoor still sleeps behind a vanity route named after a donor's dog. They never patched. I slide in like I never left. The dashboard looks dusty. Logs pile in the corner with spiderweb timestamps. I pull audit trails. DocuSign envelopes bloom into timelines. Each event is a bead. Sent, viewed, authenticated, signed. There's a delegations folder tagged Trust Admin. I open the one they need me to swallow. First pass. Signer email is right, but the device fingerprint isn't. Mom's trustee uses an old iPad with a cracked corner. Unique UA string. Ancient Safari. Tonight's signature comes from a Chrome build updated this morning on a MacBook Pro that sits on our office network. IP resolves to the finance floor VLAN. Ping hops show the route. My teeth touch without meaning to. GPS on the envelope's view event pins a location 30 miles from the trustee's house. At 3:12 a.m., the same minute our building's badge logs show Cal's folio keycard entering the small conference room on 10. I whisper, cool story, into the hanger forest. I zoom into typography because people forget type is a fingerprint too. The word trustee renders in a font weight that DocuSign doesn't use by default. Slight kerning off on the saint, I compare with the genuine delegation from last quarter. The mismatch glows. If you know where to look, forgery screams in lowercase. The cold finds my knuckles. I rub my hands and keep moving. Board proxies sit in a PDF vault. Some are clean. Some smell like copy-paste. The B-class schedule has a line item that didn't exist yesterday morning. Evergreen redeemable class. B, conditional. My chest goes empty for a second. Evergreen was mom's clause for when people tried to game the trusts. If fraud taints a transfer, Her B-class redeems, and votes consolidate with the trust's protective hand. Protective hand was her phrase. She once circled it in blue and wrote, "If they cheat, we keep the wheel." I scroll. The conditions are clear. Fraud or material misrepresentation tied to a control transaction triggers immediate redemption and voting reallocation. Translation: if I prove fraud at close, those pretty votes slide to me like a tablecloth whip. No broken glasses if the pull is clean. The coat check door nudges. The CFO's assistant sticks her head in with a purse like a trophy fish. "ICE status?" she asks. "Counting hangers," I say, deadpan. "We're losing 3 an hour to panic coats." She gives me a pity smile, the kind people practice. "Keep up the great work." She leaves. I don't unclench until her perfume fades. I export the envelope's event logs in both human-readable and machine-readable formats, hash them with SHA-256 and store the digest in my notes, then email the bundle to a cold address I registered under our janitorial vendor last year. Chain of custody matters. It's boring until it saves your life. Network logs on the portal show a burst of activity between 2:58 and 3:19 a.m. Same subnet as the finance floor. I pivot to the building's Wi-Fi controller through a utility console I wrote to troubleshoot donor check-ins. MAC address that handled the docu envelope pings again at 3:47 from the printer room. That's the one Cal's keycard locked. Printer spooled a 13-page packet at 3:49. If I can list that job ID from the print server, I can marry paper to IP to keycard. I open the print queue archive. Protected. Of course. The RFID jammer in my pocket hums when I squeeze it once. It won't open servers, but it makes locked doors think about their life choices. I pocket it again. Not yet. Don't sprint. I pivot to the network layer. The Wi-Fi controller's client list still logs per device MAC addresses with timestamps. I pull the association table for 2:45 to 3:59 a.m. One entry jumps. MAC ending. A7 to 3C, 9B. Vendor OUI maps to a 2021 MacBook Pro. DHCP issued at 10.42.10.57 on the finance VLAN at 3:06. The controller's RSSI places it near the printer room AP, fin AP10, within 10 feet. I cross-check with the radius logs. User C. Dunkill authenticated that Mac at 3 hours, 5 minutes, and 42 seconds. Device fingerprint, user, location, stacked. I check docu latency. The signer authenticated in 3 seconds. Normal for a saved cookie on a known device. But the delegate assignment fired 2 minutes before the trustee's email even viewed the packet. Automation glitch, or someone preloaded the path in backdated view. The clock doesn't lie. The sequence does. I pull one more thread. DocuSign's audit trail shows envelope ID 0FF9B 3E6, created 2 hours 59 minutes and 13 seconds with an invite from a contractor account, vendor at reefbridge-legal.com, hitting our API. The view event at 3 hours 12 minutes and 4 seconds logs a Chrome 121 UA on macOS 14.2 from 110.14.110.57, nated out through our edge, public IP I know too well. The sign event follows at 3 hours 12 minutes and 7 seconds with the same device fingerprint, canvas hash, time zone, fonts list, identical. IPs on the invite trace to a VPN exit owned by a white label provider ReefBridge uses for vendor access. Their footprint is all over the delegate invite, but not the signature that lives inside our walls. Outsiders set the table. Insiders ate. Cold air creeps further up my sleeves. I flex my fingers, then grab the napkin from my pocket and lay it flat on the tablet. Docu delegates. Mom's clause neutralized. Scrawled in Cal's all caps hurry. He thinks neutralized means erased. It means spotlight. I hear the ballroom crowd swell and dip. Toast is coming. My clock is now everyone's clock. If I go loud without proof, I'm the angry son pouring soup on the rug. If I go quiet, they steal the silver. I download the trust schedule and tag the evergreen clause. I highlight the redemption trigger and screen cap the language next to the forged envelope's logs. I add a note in Mom's voice. Keep receipts. It steadies me like a hand on my shoulder. Footsteps again. The attendant comes back with a scarf. "You good?" she asks. "Yeah, just making sure nothing walks off." She laughs. "Not on my watch." I nod at the pile. Or mine. I lock the tablet, hand it back, and lift the tray. The quiet poll is done. Proof isn't everything. It's enough to move. If fraud flips the votes, the board isn't theirs tonight. It's mine. Time to leave the coat ghosts and climb. The janitor test. Micro-Humiliations. Macro receipts. Back on the floor, the tray molds itself to my palm again. I pass two hedge fund uncles arguing about decanting while they call me buddy without looking. One snaps his fingers at my chest like I'm a lamp. "Top me," he says, eyes on his friend. I nod like a bobblehead. It keeps the light on me soft. I bust my father's table. He doesn't flinch. He tips his glass so I can snag the coaster. His sleeve rides up. New watch. Old habit. Never miss a reflection. Reef Bridge's logo ghosts off the dial like a watermark. My chest goes calm. He knows. Of course he knows. A donor pats the top of my head like I'm a golden retriever that learned, "Stay. Good man," he says, not to me. I set his glass down with two fingers like a surgery and move on. "Hey, facilities," a junior banker says, waggling two fingers. "Room temp. Not too much ice gives me brain freeze." Then he winks at his date. He probably can't count cubes. I pour with a smile like a paper cut. "Understood," I say. "We wouldn't want you thinking." A woman in a dress that could pay a mortgage tilts her empty flute on my tray so it drips onto my hand. "Oops," she says, then wipes the spill with my sleeve. So absorbent. I angle the tray. "Company policy," I say. She laughs like I made a joke for her. At the photo wall, a PR handler air kisses a donor, then turns to me without looking up. "Trash boy, this is overflowing." She points at a linen-lined silver bin that has two napkins in it. I lift it, nod once, and keep my dignity in my wrist. The micro loop in my head clicks. Who forged Mom's delegation, and why the sprint to tonight? The napkin said delegates. The log said finance floor at 3 a.m. The timer says we're minutes from the toast. If the signature is fake and the B-class flip is real, they need speed. Sunrise kills mushrooms. I drift by Cal's circle. He sells warmth like a subscription. "We're honored," he says. "Partnership. Legacy." People eat it like creme brulee. He doesn't feel the AirTag clone under his folio strap. I do. It pings through my sleeve, a soft tick in my bones. Still parked. Good. A Reef Bridge VP snaps at me for a napkin. He calls me champ. I lay a linen square with surgical precision. "Champ?" I say back, flat, and move before he can taste it. A director's spouse lifts her phone camera, assumes I'm background, and says, "Smile, staff," without waiting. I keep moving. They'll crop me anyway. The band pauses between songs. PR moves the photo wall. I swing past and catch the photographer's screen as she chimp checks a burst. In the corner of one frame, the brass centerpiece throws back a tiny mirror of Cal's folio splayed open. The term sheet header sits plain as a street sign. Timestamp on the camera reads 7 hours, 14 minutes, and 9 seconds. The phone face in the same reflection reads 7 hours, 14 minutes, and 7 seconds. 2-second skew, normal for human wrists. It anchors the sheet on that table at that minute. Macro receipt number 1. I pocket a coaster and scribble the camera time. The waiter next to me whispers, "You okay?" I nod. "Hanger count steady," I say. He snorts. "Copy that." By the bar, a burner phone buzzes at table 12. I know the number. Clock starts at toast. The texter wears a donor ribbon and a bored face. I top off his sparkling tilt the bottle so the label faces him. He watches the bubbles and misses me watching the phone. I let the text sit. Timing is a fuse. I duck into the kitchen swing door for 10 seconds of steam. Lids clatter. Garlic and beef fat grab my throat. A sous chef yells, "Behind," 3 times like a prayer. I rinse 2 glasses to justify the breach. When I push back out, the CFO is neck-locked to her phone, glare bright enough to tan. She cuts her eyes at my sticker. "Ice," she says, crisp. "Now." I nod and ghost past the ice machine to the opposite exit. My tray stays empty on purpose. It's camouflage. Heat rides my ears. My jaw aches from the mask. I keep passing drinks like it's the only skill I own. A board member with a soft voice touches my sleeve when I clear her saucer. "Thank you," she says. Eye contact like a steady beam. It lands. I file her face. If anyone will read proof without flinching, it's her. I circle Cal again. He's doing the alpha hand on a donor's shoulder move, the squeeze that says, "I own the room." The AirTag clone trips a geofence I set 30 minutes ago. Ping. The dot moves. Not far, just 40 feet, toward the east hall. I cut a diagonal path, tray angled to block lines of sight. Hallway lights lean warmer than the ballroom. Carpet eats footfalls. The folio rides a junior associate's arm like a baby. I shadow him one doorway back, a mirror with legs. He flashes a keycard at the printer room. Red light blinks. He tries again. Red. He lifts the radio. "Card's dead," he says. "Cal's only." He looks around and then, predictably, sets the folio on a side table to go hunt a human with authority. He leaves it alone for 6 seconds. I set my tray down, slide the folio half an inch, and take one photo inside the crease with my phone behind the tray rim. The term sheet bookmark shows a file name path /reefbridge/target/cute_draft_v7_final 2 PDF. The double final is a sin older than email. I spot a sticky note. Print 13, spool at 349. Macro receipt number 2. I close the folio to the original plane and lift my tray as the associate returns with a guy from facilities. Actual facilities. He glares at my sticker, then at me. "You with us?" he asks. "On loan," I say. "Ice run," he grunts. Door beeps green for his master. I don't go in. Not yet. Back in the ballroom, I skim the QR guest list at the AV booth again. I cross-match the burner from table 12 with the check-in tag. The name is a cutout, but the email on file is Reef Bridge Legal. They didn't even bother with a real mask. Sloppy is my favorite flavor of arrogant. The bandleader taps a mic. 3 minutes, he mouths to the stagehand. Timer locks. My heart doesn't race. It paces. I check the packet on my phone. Docu-logs, GPS pins, font mismatches, print spool ID, camera time anchor, folio file name path. Chain of custody, hash lives in my notes. Read-only copy lives in a cloud bucket with a deadman link. A donor waves his empty flute in my face like a wand. "Hello? We're dry." I pour him champagne and say, "Wouldn't want a drought." He smirks like he won. Fun fact, I don't need him to lose. The CFO passes again, eyes landing on my tray like it insulted her. "Ice?" she says. I point at the bar well. "Refreshed," I say. She doesn't check. She flips her phone back up, scrolling like she can will the fraud to look like policy. I pivot to the board member with the steady eyes. She sits near the aisle, hands folded, listening for something the room can't hear. I set a folded linen by her plate and slide a coaster on top. Under it, a thin paper. 3 lines, 1 hash, 1 arrow to a QR. "Please read, quietly. If true, ask for executive session." Her fingers touch the coaster. She doesn't look down. She tucks it to her lap like a hymn book. Her jaw moves once, a tiny shift. She knows the taste of stakes. "Ladies and gentlemen," the MC booms. The room tilts toward the stage. Glasses lift. Laughter tightens. Cal steps into the wash of light. Perfect teeth. Perfect tie. Perfect lie. My tray is empty. My pockets are full. The Micro-Humiliations did their job. They let me move like smoke and come back with fire. The band hits a chord. Cal raises his glass. My phone buzzes. AirTag dot returns to center. Printer room done. Proof in circulation. Timer at 0. Jaw tight. Ears hot. I keep the smile. It has knives.
Upstairs, the real party. The room leans toward Cal. I lean away. East Hall. Stairs. Carpet swallows my steps. The air cools as I climb, like the heat of the party can't find me up here. Upstairs is carpeted quiet and humming machines. The real party. Reeve Bridge didn't bring just smiles. They brought a portable war room. I know the weight of those Pelican cases before I see them. Stacked by the printer room behind a rope, a laptop perched, a lawyer with a Bluetooth in like it's fused to his skull. Opponent on deck. Private equity with teeth, the kind that smiles while they measure the bone. He clocks my sticker and looks through me. Size and threat established. Good. I'm smaller when I want to be. First test has a name in my head. Prove the forgery before the toast. That's it. If I can do that, the next battle opens. If not, the lights go out with a cheer, and they carry me with the trash. The printer room is locked with a soft red eye. Cal's folio keycard owns it. My jammer buzzes in my pocket like a gnat. I push the hallway door open with a shoulder and drift past the rope like a bored staffer. The Bluetooth lawyer raises an eyebrow. I yawn with my whole soul. "Ice run," I say. He nods at nothing. People approve what they already believe. The badge reader blinks. I wrap my fingers around the jammer and breathe out on the scan like I'm fogging a mirror. Tap. The reader coughs to amber, thinks about its choices, and clicks green. I slide in like static. The heat in the tiny room makes the paper curl. Printer, hum, ozone tang, a faint scorched smell from a fuser that's had a long day. I keep my hands where the camera sees them and angle my body to block the lens with my shoulder. Not perfect, but good enough. The print server's panel shows the last job, 13 pages. 3:49 a.m. user, C. Dunkel. QPath, Street Pier Pan 10, Skinkin Garvarem. I don't smile. I breathe. I snap a photo of the screen and the room clock in the same frame. Then I open the side panel and pull the maintenance report. It lists job IDs, times, and paper usage. I fold it once, slide it back where it lives, and let the camera catch me closing it. Chain of custody, even in a closet. I scroll to the printer syslog, Job 11837, spooled from 10.42.10.57. The embedded PJL header shows the DocuSign PDF file name stub matching the term sheet path. The NIC log also records the sending client's MAC, a 7-3C, 9B at 3 hours 49 minutes and 2 seconds. Same device as the radius hit, same user, same room, neat bow, emails. I need the rope between Reeve Bridge and the move. My portal's utility menu has a diagnostic ping that traces outbound API calls. I run it from my phone, pretending to check the toner level. The phone vibrates. Reeve Bridge Vendor VPN. Invite links fired from a contractor account with a boring name. The delegate invite came at 2:59. The view event from our network at 3:12. The sequence is wrong if it were real. It's perfect if they staged it. Outsiders set the invite. Insiders push the sign. I slide out, close the door, keep walking like I live here. Because I do. Rebridge Bluetooth turns as I pass. "Hey, you." I stop. "Facilities," I say. "You good?" He glances at the printer room. "We need that door to stay locked." I nod. "On it." He nods back and forgets me. I cut into the staging suite next door. Dark, cold, a conference table spread with drafts, half-drunk espresso, and a ribbon of power strips like a tripwire. The projector hums, asleep. I wake it with the remote on the table and plug in at the side console with a spare HDMI. The screen throws up a spreadsheet with conditional formatting, cells bleeding red to yellow to green. Deal tracker. My teeth set. Someone named Lucy has highlighted delegation received in green with a comment. "Thanks, all clear." Timestamp 3:20 a.m. I don't touch the keys. I use my phone camera on the projected screen. File names, times. The tab labeled board math. It shows a pretty pie chart with votes allocated to A, B, and redeemed B, neutralized. The word neutralized wears quotes like a dare. I pivot to the email client open on a side laptop, the screensaver lazily bouncing a logo. I nudge the trackpad with a knuckle. No password. Of course. An email chain sits there like a fish on a dock. Subject. E. Cannot block if B flips. Dad's name in the thread, short replies clipped. Proceed. Timing critical. A Reeve Bridge VP writes, "Understood. We have belt and suspenders if he objects." Cal answers with a thumbs up emoji and he won't show. I take one photo of the header, one of the body, one of the participants list, and one of the system clock. I whisper to the empty room. "Hi, Dad. It tastes like pennies." The Bluetooth at the rope gets louder. Voices stack. I hit the lights in the staging room and slip back into the hall before I become a shape someone remembers. The corridor bends toward the service stairs. Footsteps echo from below. Two ushers in black suits climb like they've been told where I am. I take a left I shouldn't take and end up by the balcony overlooking the ballroom. From here, I see Cal raise his glass, the room glittering under him. He says historic and transformative, the words doing push-ups. Can I help you? A voice says behind me, gravel over stone. I turn. Security chief. He's grayer than last time I saw him, but the eyes are the same. Blue steel with crow's feet. That means he's laughed more than he should have. You look like hell, he says. Sticker suits you. Hi, Tom, I say. You still owe my mom. I do, he says. You still doing magic? Tonight's more receipts than rabbits. He looks past me at the ballroom. They told me to escort a problem outside. His eyes return. Lucky for you, I don't see one. I need a V access, I say. Mic priority. 30 seconds. He snorts like a truck starting. You always did ask small. Timer's at 1, I say. He studies my face like he's reading a report. Then he leans in. Tech booth code still 0412. Mic 1 is hardwired to house. When you take it, don't let go. Copy. And kid, he adds, voice lower, you better be right. I am. He nods. Didn't finish it fast. He peels away down the hall. The ushers arrive where he was a second ago, radio static chewing their words. They see me and hesitate like the script didn't cover this. I raise my empty tray and smile. Ice run, I say. They step aside because people do when you look like you belong somewhere. I take the stairs down, my heart a metronome, the room below roaring like an ocean I'm about to split. The toast timer. Clock, camera, consequences. 18 minutes. That's the window between Cal's glow and my cut. I slide along the back wall toward the tech booth, counting breaths. The house lights glaze, everyone in warm sugar. It's loud until it isn't. Every lull feels like a trap door. I duck into the restroom by the stairs. Fluorescents flicker. I face the mirror. The Evan facility sticker is crooked, peeling at the corner. I press it flat. Okay, I tell the guy in the glass. No theater. Clean lines. My mouth almost smiles. It looks wrong. I wash my hands without needing to and watch water bead on my knuckles. I mutter. Hanger count steady. It helps. Edge back on. 15. I hit the hall and thumb my phone awake. Compile the chain. Audit trails exported to human and machine-readable packs. Envelope IDs. IP traces to the finance VLAN. GPS pings. Font mismatch overlays. Print Q photo with room clock. Email header images. Spreadsheet capture. And the evergreen clause, with Mom's blue margin note scanned from her copy. I hash the bundle. SHA-256 spits a string that looks like a spell. I paste it at the top of a readme. Anyone can check it. No one can pretend it's air. 13. I tap the upload to a read-only IPFS gateway. Permissionless, verifiable, boring to say out loud, and perfect to shove in a face. I embed the gateway CID into a simple slide set I threw together 5 minutes ago on my phone. 4 frames, black background, white text, receipts stacked like bricks. Each footer has a QR. Scan it and land on the packet. The file title reads, Receipts for those without memories.pdf. Petty. Accurate. I breathe once, then send the bundle to the cold address, to the board member's inbox, and to my cold storage cloud with a dead man trigger. If someone pulls my sticker off and walks me outside, the link goes public. If not, I get to choose the timing. I like choices. 10. I slip into the tech booth. The AV op gives me side eye until he sees the code work. 0412. The panel unlocks with a soft click. I nod like it's normal. He looks at my sticker, shrugs, goes back to the light cues. I slide the mic priority toggle to house 1. It hums a little in my palm like a nervous bird. I don't let go. 9. The CFO appears by the booth rail like a hawk. You, she says. Ice. I point at the bar well again. Refreshed, I say. Dead calm. Her eyes do the math on whether to bully me or fix her night. She chooses her night. Good choice. 8. Text from an unknown number. Stand down. Spoofed caller ID that reads, Facilities Dispatch. Cute. I reply with a single dot. I don't reward effort without quality. 7. Cal's voice rolls over the room. Our mother built a company that felt like a family. He pauses for the chord change. People who never met her nod like they did. My throat tightens in a way that isn't rage. I pocket it. Later. 6. I scan the faces. Dad watches the room like a chessboard. Reebridge smiles with their eyes flat. The board member with a steady gaze lowers her lid once, lifts it. Tiny signal. She's read enough. I feel that nod like a spine splice. 5. The old security chief, Tom, posts by the center aisle. His radio is quiet. His jaw is not. He chews on a decision he's already made. He tilts his chin at the stage. The aisle is clear. Runway lit. 4. I open the rescue dock. Rival fund term sheet sits ready with ethics triggers. Factories open. Executive comp frozen pending audit. Retention. Bonuses for floor staff. Clawbacks for fraud. It's contingent on a finding. That part is my job. My thumb hovers over the send if cancel draft. I cue it. 1 tap later, and it will sing. 3. Breath in, breath out. The band leader pushes a soft pad under Cal's words. Phones lift like a small forest leaning toward the light. I check the mic twice because I am not going to be the guy who taps and says, "Is this on?" It is. I feel the circuit in my bones. 2. The CFO drifts toward the stage like she can catch the moment and pocket it. Reebridge Bluetooth whispers into his mic. Dad lowers his glass by a half-inch, which for him is panic. 1. I step out from the booth, drop the tray on a stool without noise, and walk the aisle. Tom meets my eye, then turns away, which is the same as pulling a lever. I reach the steps as Cal hits. To the future. He lifts his glass. The crowd follows. 0. I plant my feet on the stage scene. The house mic is warm in my hand. My heart kicks twice. The ballroom hushes a hair without knowing why. The AV op sees the priority light flip. He can either fight it or let it roll. He lets it roll. "Hold," I say, voice steady. It carries like a string pulled taut. Cal turns, smile calcifying. Reebridge goes still. Dad's jaw remembers gravity again. Before we toast, I add, we need to see something. Slides appear. Black field, white text, no flourishes. Envelope ID, timestamps, IP, device fingerprint, GPS pin. A hush like cloth. Someone drops a fork. The projector whirs. I feel the room shift from party to courtroom. The question hangs. Will I nuke it? My answer waits in my chest, measured and loaded. Small wins, bigger teeth, the battle escalates. First slide lands like a mallet. Audit trail, IP, device, GPS pin in our office at 3:12 a.m. A whisper moves through the room like a draft. I keep my tone flat. This packet was signed by our trustee. It wasn't. It came from inside. A hand rises 3 rows back. The board member with steady eyes doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. I nod once. You asked for executive session? You'll get it after we see 3 things. Slide 2, printer job, 13 pages. User C. Dunkel, QPAP. I don't say my brother's name. The screen does it for me in uppercase. Cal's smile twitches, then fights to live. Dad's hand tightens around a flute he hasn't tasted. I flip to typography. Kerning on trustee. Wrong weight. Wrong letter spacing. Fun fact, I say, quiet. Fonts don't lie. There's a dry laugh in the back from someone who's been sued before. Small win 1. The board member stands. She doesn't grandstand. She steps to the aisle and holds up the coaster I slid her. Point of order, she says. Documents to executive council, now. A murmur becomes applause. That isn't joy, just relief that an adult is in the room. She leans closer to me as she passes. Send me the full packet, she whispers, quietly. I tap my phone once. The email flies. Reebridge's Bluetooth finally finds his throat. A dispute. He stops when slide 3 shows the invite timestamp 2 minutes before the view event. Sequence is inconsistent, I say. If this were clean, you wouldn't need time travel. Cal tries a chuckle that sounds like a cough. Evan loves puzzles, he says, micless, hoping charm can patch drywall. He's always been enthusiastic. He edges toward me, kitchen corridor side like we're going to hug. We're not. He corners me by the wing. Stay in your lane, he hisses, teeth barely parting. Which lane is that, I say low, the one I paved? His eyes flash mean. He drops his voice to the register he uses when he fires assistants. You're going to ruin this. Then it's already ruined. He tilts his head like I'm a child. Go bust a table. I step back. Mike's still alive. We'll go faster, I say to the room. Board proxies now. Slide 4 clones out of page comparison. Genuine from last quarter. Tonight's fake. Overlap the T's. Watch the tremor. Counterattack hits my pocket. Email from legal. Subject line. NDA reminder and injunctive relief. They're fast. It reads like a speed trap. Confidentiality. Penalties. Do not disclose. Attachment. A clause with my name typed like a warrant. I tilt the screen so the front row sees the subject. Cute, I say. But I'm speaking as a trustee under the Evergreen Clause. Counsel can join us after the fraud talk. Dad finally remembers the mic stand is a tool. He takes the backup and puts on his best church voice. Son, he says, we can talk about this off stage. Sure, I say. Offline is where this got signed, right? A slice of laughter cuts the tension, ugly and honest. He flinches. He hates being laughed at more than being hit. Tactic shift. I push the doc bundle to a read-only IPFS link on the corner of the slide. For those of you who need bedtime reading, I say scan that. QRs bloom on phones like algae. Half the room starts pulling receipts like it's Black Friday. The AV op looks impressed. Against his will. My phone buzzes again. Unknown number, local area code. Stand down. This time, the caller ID spoofs the board chair. I take the call and put it on speaker, just long enough to hear the click silence of a spoofed trunk. I hang up without a word. The petty part of me scores it as a missed free throw. Reeve Bridge VP steps forward, smooth palms, gentle menace. Ladies and gentlemen, any allegations of fraud are taken seriously, he says, but our diligence was thorough. We have belt and suspenders that you installed, I say, on our server. Your contractor account fired invites at 2:59. Our finance floor signed at 3:12. That's not diligence, that's choreography. The audit trail ties the envelope ID to a Chrome 121 UA on macOS 14.2 at 10.42.10.57. Mac ending A73C9B. Your signer sat on our finance VLAN next to the printer room. He smiles thinner. You're emotional. You're projecting. I change slides with a breath. Email header. Subject. E cannot block if B flips. Names, times, dads proceed, sitting like a cigar burn. No one talks. Someone inhales wrong and coughs. It echoes. Dad swallows. The mic pops with the swallow. He looks at the board member with the steady eyes as if she might hand him a rope. She doesn't. My phone dings with a text I expect and hate. It's from a different number, a carrier I recognize. Walk away, we forget this. Carrot, then stick. I reply with a link to the hash. Too late. Threat escalates in the flesh. 2 ushers appear at the side aisle like they changed clothes from 10 minutes ago. Tom steps into their lane with the calm of a dock piling. He doesn't touch them. He doesn't need to. He shakes his head once. They recalibrate, melt back to the wall like shadows remembering they're flat. I ping the QR again. The read receipts spike. Micro loop closes. The board has seen enough to justify an executive session. A hand taps my elbow. The board member speaks without moving her lips. You'll get 5 minutes. Make it count. I nod. Last point before we recess, I say. Mom's trust. Evergreen redeemable B fraud triggers redemption. Those votes consolidate with the trust protective hand. I don't emphasize the phrase. It emphasizes itself, living in the silence like a second spine. If this room moves to close on tainted signatures, you're not just unethical, you're void. Phones light. Reeve Bridge fidgets. Dad's smile finally dies. Cal watches me with a look I don't recognize. It isn't hate, it's fear with a tie. I open my mouth to set the hook for Act 3. My phone buzzes again. New message from Dad. 2 words. Proceed regardless. I let my eyes flick to the board member. Unease tilts to horror, clean and fast. Okay, I say, soft. Here's where it gets dark. Survival counter. They try to disappear me. Here's where it gets dark. Proceed regardless, Dad texted, and the room grew teeth. The board member leaned in. 5 minutes, she whispered. Executive session. I nodded, shifted to close the slide, and felt the air change behind me. 2 ushers. Same suits, different eyes. Sir, with us, the taller one said, already angling me off the stage scene. Not a request. Polite hands, iron under silk. Executive session, I said into the mic. Right after. The shorter one cut the cable at my elbow with a palm on the XLR. Sound died. The house took a breath like a wave pulling back. I didn't fight, not on stage. I let the tray hand instinct surface. Comply, smile, move. We slipped behind the curtain. Cal's voice floated after us, trying to stitch the room. We'll take 5. The taller usher palmed a side door. Cold metal smell. Fire exit stenciled white. My shoulder brushed cinder block. Radios crackled like insects. Quick chat outside, he said. Sure, I said. I love chats. We hit the stairwell. Echoes stacked. The door thumped shut and ate the ballroom. My shoes slid 1/2 step on paint dust. Careful, the short one said, like he was a friend. The taller one's hand found my bicep. Not a bruised grip, a control grip. I nodded and let my weight sag forward like I was tired. 2 more steps. Breath in, turn on the rail. The metal bit my palm cold and mean. I dropped my center and pivoted under his wrist. Not to break free, just to change direction. Lungs burned once. Phone lit my inner pocket with a ghost blue square. Hey, I said, easy. This landing's faster. They didn't like improvisation. Keep moving, Tall said. His voice didn't raise. He didn't need it to. Short reached for his radio. I raised my free hand like surrender and tapped my phone with the other. Panic word. The security app chirped silent, then pushed every ballroom camera feed to my cloud. Auto backup spun like a windmill. If I disappeared, the room didn't. Facilities, I said, as if that explained anything. I get lost a lot. Short laughed once. Bet you do. We dropped another flight. The stairwell air tasted like pennies and mop bucket. Somewhere, below, a door opened and shut. I heard Tom's gravel far clipped. They heard it too. Tall sped up. I let them. I stumbled on the next step hard enough to make it honest. My shoulder hit the wall. Pain spiked clean. I swallowed it. Ice run, I said to the concrete because words keep hands steady. Almost there, Short said. He reached for the crash bar with a glove. Tall shifted to keep me centered between them. Radio hissed. Copy? Copy? I looked at the red exit sign and saw payroll vanishing in its glow. If they walked me out, the motion went to a vote without me. They would call it order. They would call it decorum. They would call it done. I exhaled. Okay, I said, flat. Left shoes untied. Tall glanced down because he was human. I stepped into the gap. Not a run. A slip past, hip to rail, a quick smear on paint, then down the next flight 2 at a time. Phone flashlight popped, white bar in the dark. Shadows jumped like fish. Their footfalls slapped close, heavy, practiced. Stop, Tall barked. The stairwell threw it back at us doubled. I didn't. Breath turned to knives. The cold rail bit a groove in my palm. Radio shouted names that weren't mine. One more landing. Another. My lungs burned like a flare. Hanger count steady, I told myself, stupid and useful. A door below thudded open. Tom filled the frame like a lighthouse. He didn't draw a weapon. He didn't puff his chest. He just stood. No exterior egress, he said, voice calm enough to freeze water. Directive from... Short started. Tom cut him with a look. Fire code keeps this aisle clear. It stays clear. His hand hovered an inch from the crash bar. Open, palm out. A smaller man would have waved authority around. Tom wore it like skin. Tall recalculated. He wasn't paid to argue code on tape. He was paid to make problems evaporate. My camera in my pocket was a mirror they didn't want. He eased back 1 step. We'll reconvene upstairs, he said bland. Great, I said, breathing like a dog. Love upstairs. Tom didn't look at me. You have 10, he said, voice for me alone, eyes still on them. End it. The ushers peeled off, radios chewing their retreat. The stairwell filled with that empty quiet after a storm. The metal rail cooled under my hand. My fingers shook, then stopped because I told them to. Tom still didn't look at me. You good to stand? He asked. Yeah, I said. Stairwell ambiance is my favorite. He snorted. House sees everything now? Copies are safe, I said. If I go dark, the link goes wide. Don't go dark, he said. Then he stepped left just enough for me to pass. The door breathed ballroom heat again when it opened. Noise rolled in like surf. My sticker tugged at my lapel as if to ask if we were still playing the part. We were, until we weren't. I put my palm to the push bar and felt the thin skin over my knuckles pull. I thought of Mom's blue ink in the margin. Keep receipts. I thought of the board member's nod. I thought of Dad's proceed regardless and Cal's thumbs up at 3:20 a.m. when he thought I wouldn't show. 10 minutes, Tom had said.
The moral rub.
Copy,
Mom's
said,
letter
to no one
and my
and to
line.
her, and
I
stepped
cut
back
left
into
off the
light.
main hall and slid into the quiet office they still called Founders, like a shrine no one dusted. The lamp threw a small pool of gold. The rest was shadow and old carpet. I closed the door with my heel and let the latch whisper. 10 minutes, less now. The safe sat behind a framed photo of a groundbreaking. Mom center, hands dirty, grin unposed. I tilted the frame and pressed the hidden bump. The panel eased. Keypad blinked awake like an eyelid. Code was still her birthday. I punched it with fingers that tried to shake and failed. Inside, a chamois pouch, a cedar box, a letter clipped with blue tape. She used blue tape for anything she didn't want lost. The paper smelled like the cedar had been listening. I sat on the arm of the couch because chairs felt like lies. Her handwriting hit first, angular, fast, always a little ahead of itself. If you found this, it began, you waited until you had to. Good. I heard her voice in my head without trying and hated that it helped. Power isn't kindness, she'd written. Kindness is clarity. Clarity is clean edges, no fuzz. Keep receipts. Don't confuse mercy with fog. She'd underlined fog. My throat tightened around nothing. I widened it with a breath. Remember clause 14, the next line said. Fonts matter more than tears. She drew a tiny arrow toward a margin note from years ago. A circle around protective hand with her ... exhale marks. The same blue pen had made a correction in the clause, an old fight about a comma. The curve of the R matched the mismatch in tonight's fake. My eyes stung like I'd cut onions and lacked the sound to cover it. Under the letter was a single page of her marginalia from the trust. If they cheat, we keep the wheel. Circled twice. A line below. If we ever have to use this, do it in daylight. Quiet steals more than loud. I laid it next to my packet and felt the edges line up. The breath I'd been saving came out as a laugh I didn't enjoy. Okay, I said to the empty couch. Clean edges. My mask slipped for no one. I let my face be ugly for 3 seconds because it needed somewhere to sit. Then I folded it away. The rescue plan waited like a good parachute. I pulled up the rival fund's term sheet. It wasn't charity. It was a deal with nails. Factories stay open. Executive bonus is frozen. Audit comp. Worker retention pay. Ethics triggers I could live with and get sued over later. The money sat contingent on a fraud finding. We had one. I needed to say it out loud and then prove it twice. But the rub wasn't the paperwork. It was the street outside. My friends worked in those buildings. My enemies did too. If I lit this, payroll came next Monday because I had pre-wired it that way. If I missed, 1,000 people got the spin while Reef Bridge stripped assets with a smile. Family versus thousands. Pride versus oxygen. I set the letter on my thigh and read the last paragraph again. You won't feel brave, she'd written. Brave feels like cold fingers and saying no when yes would make people clap. She'd drawn a small square in the corner. Box checked. It's not about being loved. It's about being able to sleep. I checked the time. 7 minutes. Tom's tin was shrinking. I opened the cedar box. Inside, an old fountain pen with a crack near the nib and a slip of paper with 3 phone numbers in pencil. One was the lawyer I'd kept on retainer under the janitorial vendor. One was the bank contact for the standby credit line. One was Tom's old pager code. I smiled because the universe had a sense of humor about pagers. I dialed the bank on speaker, low. Condition is met, I said when the voice answered. Fraud finding on delegation. Proceed to release the standby credit line under the ethics triggers. Copy, she said, voice flat and crisp. Require board note? You'll have it in 5, I said. Timestamp the receipt anyway. Received, she said. Click. I texted the lawyer the hash, the clause screenshot, and one sentence. Prepare to move for injunctive relief if they try to close. 3 dots blinked, stopped, blinked again. On standby, came back. Call if their mouths move. I slid Mom's letter back into the pouch, then stopped. I took a photo of her line about fog. I tucked the page into my jacket over my heart because I am corny when no one is looking. Decision time. Walk or burn. Save jobs or scorch earth. Keep Dad's smile intact or trade it for clean edges. I pictured the printer room at 3:49. Cal's thumbs up at 3:20. Dad's proceed regardless. I pictured the floor workers who sent my mom a plant, the Christmas she worked, a double in the line. I pictured the janitor vendors who called me Mr. E because they couldn't say my last name without laughing, and I liked that better than respect from people who didn't see me. I won't sell them for your sins, I said quiet, to the letter, to the couch, to myself. I'll expose, then protect. My phone buzzed. The board. Member. Executive session in 3. Bring proof. Short words. Bless her. I opened my rescue email, attached the term sheet, lined up the ethics triggers where eyes couldn't skip them, and drafted the subject. Contingent financing to stabilize operations post non-close. Boring on purpose. I set the delay send for 60 seconds after I said the line into a microphone. Another dead man. Another edge. On the way out, I ran my fingers along the photo frame. Mom's grin didn't ask for applause. It asked me to be a spine. I pressed the safe shut and felt the lock catch. In the hall, the party's heat rolled up to meet the office's chill. I put the letter behind my pulse and stepped toward the stage. The macro loop clicked once in my head. Proof. Rescue. Consequence. Okay, I said, just to hear it in air. We go loud. We go clean. We keep the wheel. Dark side reveal. I am the counterparty. The aisle parts like a zipper when I step back into the light. Tom's chin tilt is a green flag. The board member with steady eyes has her packet in hand. Cal is mid-sentence, riding a smile that's starting to sweat. Dad looks at the crowd like he can will then back into a painting. I take house 1 again. It hums in my fist. Executive session in 3, I say steady. But first, one truth. The slide behind me clears to black. The room holds its breath, the way a room does when it knows the next minute gets quoted for years. This isn't just a forged delegation, I say. It's a control play. Fraud triggers evergreen B. Those votes move now. I let that land. A glass dings against a plate somewhere. It sounds small. And there's one more thing, I add. Under the agreement's material misrepresentation clause, the deal can't close while tainted. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Phones rise. Reef bridge stills. Cal tries to step closer like proximity could dissolve math. Dad adjusts his cufflink because he has run out of moves that look like love. You called me the janitor, I say. Fair. I clean up. Tonight I'm also something else. I am the counterparty. The word hangs. For a second, the room thinks it misheard. Then the oxygen changes. The shells you mocked? I continue. The vendor you never read? The boring Delaware LLCs you teased me about at Thanksgiving? I gesture once, small. Those are my stack. Through them, I hold a majority of the acquirer's voting block. Not Reef Bridge, not Dad, me. A sound rolls through the crowd that isn't gasp or laugh. It's recognition, turning to heat. Reef Bridge Bluetooth swallows in profile. His throat bobs like a buoy in chop. I didn't plan it for this night, I say. I planned it to stop this kind of night. You brought it to me early. That's on you. Cal's face does a thing I've never seen. Vulnerable, then vicious, then blank. Bull, he says, too loud. You don't have. I click the next slide. Ownership lattice. Arrows crawl like a subway map. Names no one cares about unless they live in Chancery Court. The footer shows a QR that lands on Secretary of State filings and beneficial owner attestations. Dry receipts. Heavyweight. Fun fact, I say, dry. Conflicts disclosure cut both ways. Reef Bridge, your filing is light. I don't smile. I don't need to. Mine isn't. Dad finds his church tone again. Son, This is reckless. You are confessing to deception. I'm confessing to structure, I say. The deception was 3:12 a.m. downstairs. The projector fan clicks louder. The band stands still like a photograph. The workers at the back stop pretending to pour and start listening with arms crossed. This is the darkness, I say, and I let it touch me as I say it. I became what I hated. Faceless capital with teeth. Silence. People who know me stiffen because I don't hand them that kind of line. The board member's mouth softens for half a breath, then firms. I did it because nice loses, I add. Kindness needs a spine. Mom called it the protective hand. This is the hand. Reef Bridge tries for sympathy. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching a family matter. No, I say. Clean. You're watching governance. I lift the letter scan for one beat. Blue tape corner, her marginalia visible. Fraud taints a close. Fraud triggers redemption. Fraud voids consent. And under the merger agreement's material misrepresentation and compliance with law provisions, any material misrepresentation or fraudulent inducement is grounds to terminate without liability. The security chief shifts his weight at the aisle. It's not a threat. It's gravity. I turn my face to the board member. Madam Director, under Evergreen, and as beneficial owner of the counterparty's voting block, I'm exercising a right. She doesn't blink. Name it. Effective now, I say, mic dead calm. For material misrepresentation tied to control, the $500 million merger is canceled. No theatrics, no drum roll. Just the sentence. It hits like a flat palm to the chest. Gasps, yes. But under that, a sudden scrape of chairs, a fork skittering, a hiss from a champagne cork that slipped in someone's hand. Cal surges a step. You can't. I don't look at him. I just did. Dad's face strains. He points at the board member, the universal sign for order. He doesn't have authority. She lifts a hand. He stops, shocked by his own reflex. We're in receipt of credible evidence, she says, voice calm. We will move to executive session. But the motion to adjourn for that session follows from a ruling, and the ruling is simple. No close under a fraud cloud. Reef Bridge Bluetooth calls someone and hears no help. He pockets his phone like it bid him. Everyone with fiduciary duties, I say, consider yourself on notice. Phones up, receipts in your inbox. For those without email, scan the corner. Cameras rise, and the light from them throws little squares on faces that used to be masks. Dad looks older than I remember. Cal looks young in a way I hate to notice. I tip the mic closer, softer. I didn't want this to be public. You planned it public. We finish it public. The room murmurs like a tide pulling back before a break. I let the quiet settle so the last sentence lands where it should. Tonight, we keep the wheel, I say. Tomorrow, we answer for how. Public autopsy, receipts, clips, consequences. We go from claim to proof. No speeches. Slide 1 becomes clip 1. The audit trail animates. Envelope created, invite sent, view, signed. I tap the timestamps. Pause, I say. Invite at 2:59 a.m. view at 3:12 from our finance VLAN. The GPS dot blooms over our building like a rash. A murmur crests and breaks. Next, side-by-side signatures. Genuine delegation from last quarter on the left. Tonight's on the right. I zoom the ST in trustee. The kerning wobble shows its limp. Fonts don't lie, I say again, quieter. I lay a transparent overlay. The drift is visible even to people who think type is just letters. A few heads tilt, then nod, the way people do when their eyes win an argument with their politics. Printer room photo fills the screen. Job queue. 3:49 a.m. User C. Dunkel. I frame the room clock in the corner. Then I place the maintenance report beside it with the highlighted job ID. The line connects. The board member raises her hand like a metronome. Received, she says, to no one and to council. I roll the Reef Bridge vendor VPN trace. Contractor account name. Invite IP. I let the cursor hover. Your diligence, I say to their row, fired the starter pistol. Bluetooth opens his mouth, closes it. Someone 2 rows back whispers, belt and suspenders my, and stops at the vowel. Then the email chain. Subject: E cannot block if B flips. Dad's proceed, timing critical. I don't read it aloud. I let the text hang there like a smell. Cal stares at it as if staring could untype it. Reefbridge checks their phones like help can be overnighted. Gasps come uneven, like popcorn starting. A fork hits a plate and skitters to the carpet. The projector whirs a little louder, then settles. I keep my voice flat. These receipts live on a read-only gateway. Hash at the top for those who like math. If you see a mismatch, raise your hand now. No hands, only eyes. I pull one more clip. The PR photo reflection. The brass centerpiece catching the corner of the term sheet. Timestamp anchored by the camera and the phone in frame. 2 seconds skew, I say. Normal. Good enough to place this on that table at 7:14. The photographer half lifts her camera, then lowers it. Eyes wide and guilty and relieved. For the lawyers in the room, I add one slide. Material misrepresentation equals termination right. Citations to the agreement's reps and warranties page numbers. Inducement by fraud voids consent. Escrow doesn't release. Counsel nods because the words have edges. Reefbridge makes their move to leave. The VP stands, phone to ear, coat half on. We'll issue a statement, he says to the air, and angles toward the aisle. Tom plants once. The VP's eyes drop to Tom's shoes, then rise to Tom's jaw. He sits without being told. The room notes that. Dad tries a new angle. You're humiliating your family, he says, slow and righteous. I'm auditing a process, I say, and protecting workers who don't have a mic. My finger taps the evergreen clause on the screen, Mom's margin note circled in blue. This isn't humiliation, it's sunlight. Cal snaps. You always wanted to blow it up, he says. You think this show makes you a hero? I think this makes the vote honest, I say. Hero is for other nights. The board member glances at counsel, then stands. We will now take up a motion, she says, clean. Motion. Withhold consent to close and schedule an independent review. Interim vote on merger resolution, up or down on record tonight. Counsel at the end of the table sputters about process. She raises a hand. He stops. Call the roll, she says. Names tick. Ayes, nays. The room breathes between each like it's counting with us. Reefbridge stares at the ceiling. Dad votes aye to close, voice hard. Cal echoes him. 2 directors waver, then look at the slide with the docu mismatch and say nay, almost apologizing to physics. The tally arrives like a train on time. Nay to merger, she announces. Motion fails. It isn't a cheer. It isn't a sob. It's a low exhale, the kind people make when a tire misses a nail by an inch and they don't have to pull over in the rain. Someone claps twice and stops, not trusting joy here. Reefbridge's rep types furiously, then deletes, then types. The PR team's drafted statements turn to mulch in their throats. I don't gloat. I won't give Dad that easy villain to point at. For the record, I say, quieter, this isn't a victory lap. It's a hard stop. I lift the mic away from my mouth, then bring it back. Tomorrow, we talk about payroll, operations, and audits. Tonight, we stop the cut. A hand lifts in the back. It's the worker's rep, not on the program, in a decent blazer with calluses that don't fit the cuff. You got money to keep the line? He asks, direct. Yes, I say. Contingent financing triggers on fraud finding. Ethics terms attached. I let that sentence sit so folks can feel the floor under them. He nods once. We'll hold you to it, he says. Not a threat, a contract. Phones keep filming. Faces shift through shame, anger, relief, calculation. Dad opens his mouth again, then closes it. He looks at the letter on the screen, at the blue tape. He looks away. Cal's hand flexes on the mic stand, then drops. Executive session now, the board member says. Counsel, Auditorium B. She turns to me and lowers her voice without lowering her chin. You'll submit the full packet to independent review. You'll stay for questions. I will, I say. Tom tips his head toward the side door. The aisle clears without being told. Reefbridge stands again, recalculates again, sits again. The projector fan spools down a notch, like it can feel the room's temperature drop to something usable. As we move to the door, I give the room one more line. Not loud, just true. You wanted a toast, I say. Here's mine. To receipts. The rescue plan. Cut, replace, protect. Executive session spits us into a side room with bad carpet and good acoustics. Counsel stacks folders. The board member with the steady eyes sets her packet down like a gavel. Options, she says. 3, I say. Cut the deal. Replace the money. Protect the base. Money first, the workers rep says from the back. Standby credit line is ready, I say. Contingent financing triggers on fraud. It's in motion. I glance at counsel. Ethics terms locked. She reads as I talk. Factories stay open. 90 days guaranteed. Executive bonuses frozen pending audit. Retention for floor staff. Supply payables prioritized. Dad's jaw ticks. You do not control comp. Tonight I do, I say, calm. Interim governance until the inquiry closes. Board still votes every lever. I'm proposing the frame. Reef Bridges VP tries soft power. This is unnecessary drama. Drama would be pink slips, I say. This is triage. The board member taps her pen once. Interim structure? Independent chair pro tem, I say. 2 committee co-chairs for audit and comp from outside the family. Suspend Dad and Cal from operational authority pending review. Not fired. Benched. Cal laughs like a cough. Cute. It's clean, I say. Counsel looks up. Ethics triggers? I list without heat. No executive equity grants until the independent review. Clawbacks where fraud touches compensation. Whistleblower hotline routed outside. Vendor conflicts disclosed and purged. All emergency contracts double signed by independent directors. The workers rep folds his arms. And payroll? Funded Monday, I say. I'll send the bank receipt to your phone before dawn. Dad stares at the wall like it owes him an apology. You are dismantling legacy. I'm isolating it from your choices, I say. Legacy survives this if we stop lying. The board member nods once. Motion. Adopt interim governance as proposed, subject to council's refinements. She turns to me. Evidence-based suspensions only. Agreed, I say. This is process, not theater. Reef Bridge leans in. You will scare the market. Transparency calms it, I say. Lies spike it. Cal points at me. He wants my job. I want air, I say. Breathe, you can't monetize. Counsel clears her throat. Bank confirmation? My phone vibrates. I lift it without ceremony. Receipt time-stamped, I say, and slide it across. She reads the wire memo, the conditions, the holdback terms. Funds are real, she says. The workers rep exhales through his nose like a man unclenching after a long winter. Vote, the board member says. Aye, comes in a slow string, like stones across a creek. 2 nays, 1 abstain. Carried. Dad sits straighter. You cannot suspend me. I can move to, the board member says, measured. And I will. Evidence is credible. This protects the process. Cal sputters. This is a coup. This is a bandage, the workers rep says. You tried to cut the artery. Counsel marks the minutes. Suspensions pending inquiry, effective immediately. Access restricted to non-operational systems. I don't smile. I hate this part. Dad, I say, softer than I should. It's temporary. He looks past me like I'm a column. It lands anyway. Communications? The board member asks. 3 notes, I say. Internal at shift change. Stability, pay protected. Inquiry launched. Retaliation banned. External. Merger paused. Independent review. Interim governance focused on operations and jobs. Investor call at market open with the chair and me. No victory laps. No villains in the copy. Reef Bridge mutters, lawyers will eat you. Good, I say. They chew slower when they're full. Counsel slides a blank order across. Read it into the record. I stand. The mic on the table catches my breath and makes it a sound. Effective tonight. 1. Terminate the merger process for cause. 2. Activate standby credit line subject to ethics terms. 3. Establish interim governance with independent chair pro tem. Suspend CEO and COO from operational authority pending inquiry. 4. Initiate independent review of delegation fraud and related conduct. 5. Implement comp freeze for named executives and retention for hourly staff. 6. publish a whistleblower channel outside counsel's control. 7. Convene an investor update call at .open. Dad's knuckles go white. Cal stares at the table like it wrote this. The board member signs. Counsel initials. She pushes the pen to me. I don't take it. Chair signs, I say. I announce. The workers rep lifts a hand. One more, he says. Plant safety audits you actually do. Add it, I say. Counsel writes. 8. Immediate third-party safety audits at all sites, findings published. Thank you, he says, and it hits my ribs harder than I expect. We stand to go back. Tom leans in the door, unreadable. House is restless, he says. House gets plain words, I say. The board member stops me at the threshold. You good? No, I say. But we're right. She almost smiles. Good. Enough. Back on stage, I keep it spare. The board has voted for an independent review and interim governance. The merger is off. Operations continue. Payroll is funded. Safety audits start now. Retaliation will end careers. We'll answer more in the morning. The workers rep, from the back, raises a thumb. We'll hold you to it, he calls. Please do, I say. My hands shake once. I still call him Dad when I turn to him. We'll get a lawyer, he says, small. Already have one, I say. Bring yours. Phones buzz like bees. Share price dips on screens, then steadies when the call invite pings. The room doesn't cheer. It exhales. Reef Bridge peels off for the door, quiet and fast. I look at the crowd and think of Mom's line about fog. No fog tonight, just edges. We cut. We replaced. Now we protect. The parking lot. What power costs? The door breathes me out. Gala noise drops to a damp hum, like a party in a fish tank. Night air bites. Valets jog in loops. Headlights sweep. Exhaust hangs sweet and stale. My Evan facilities sticker is half peeled, a curl of paper at my lapel like a white flag that missed its cue. I stop under a weak lamp. Asphalt glitters with rock salt and a fallen champagne cork. The building's glass throws back a ghost version of the ballroom. Gold, moving, distant. My phone buzzes in my pocket like a trapped fly. I don't look yet. I let the cold put a straight edge on my breath. Dad comes out flanked by counsel who keep their voices low like they can tame gravity with Latin. He won't meet my eyes. He has a different face for exits. Careful, carved. The one he uses when a camera's near. He angles to pass me without contact, then stutters a half step when Tom nods to me like I'm not a ghost. Dad, I say. The word tastes like a coin. He pauses without stopping. You'll regret this, he says, flat. Maybe, I say, but we'll still be paying people on Monday. He flinches at we. He keeps walking. Counsel murmurs about injunctions and filings and preserving positions. The words feel thin in the cold. Cal follows a minute later, alone, jaw crooked. Anger rides his face like a passenger who won't chip in for gas. He drifts close enough that we can both pretend we didn't plan it. You humiliated us, he says, quiet enough to pretend it was private. You did that at 3:12, I say. I just turned on the lights. He leans in. I'll bury you in paper. Cool story, I say. Make sure the fonts match. He laughs without humor, a sharp bark into the dark, then points at my sticker like, that's the joke that matters. Facilities, he says, and shakes his head like it's an epitaph. He peels away to a black SUV that blinks awake like a shark's eye. Staff spill out in clusters, heels in hand, jackets over dresses, ties undone. The kitchen crew loads bins into a truck with the muscle memory of people who don't get applause. One of them, the kid I joked hanger counts with, catches my eye. He gives a chin lift. I return it. That's the whole ceremony. The board member with steady eyes walks out with her coat on her arm, not her shoulders. She stops at the edge of the light. You'll sleep? She asks. I'll lie down, I say. I'm not sure about sleep. She nods. Let the process keep you upright. Don't feed the press yourself. She hesitates, then adds, and call your doctor. Your hands were shaking. They stopped, I say. They will start again, she says. Text me if they won't stop. She moves on. No hug. A gift. My phone keeps buzzing. News alerts stack like dominoes. One headline calls it a family feud. Another names fraud before counsel can. Investors flood my inbox with questions wearing concern like a tie. The rival fund's wire memo pings receipt. The workers' rep texts a thumbs up, and a second later, "Don't make me regret it." I type back, "Please do." Then delete, then send anyway. The valet stand crackles with radios and first names. Someone's Bentley is stuck. Someone's Uber cancels twice. The lot smells like wet wool and stress. A group of donors sweep past, voices high and bright, grief masked as gossip. One says tragic, one says necessary, one says brand suicide, like she invented the phrase. I look at the curb where the bus stops. The sign leans. The schedule is a weathered rumor. I could call a car. I don't. I walk to the pole and stand in the sodium glow with my half-peeled sticker and my pockets full of receipts. Power cost me cover. It cost me the idea that I could play nice and win. It might cost me a father. It might give me a company I can look in the eye. A breeze slides under my collar and brings the ballroom scent with it. Perfume, starch, victory sweat. It fades into street cold and the steady diesel of a bus a few blocks away. I close my eyes for a breath and see Mom scrawl in blue. Kindness is clarity. Keep receipts. The bus turns the corner, sighs, kneels. Doors open with a sound like a shrug. I step on. The driver glances at my sticker and smirks. Long shift? Yeah, I say. Still mopping. He nods like he understands mop as a verb in a theology. I drop into a seat, press my phone to do not disturb, and watch the Gala lights drain backward through a fogged window until they're dots. Then nothing. And just the sound of a city that doesn't care how you spell your last name as long as you pay the fare. The door thumps behind me. The bus hisses. My breath ghosts the glass. My phone buzzes one last time. Board confirms safeguards, wire lands, inquiry starts, and I slide do not disturb on like armor and let the city blur into lines. If I went too far, tell me. If I didn't go far enough, tell me that. Subscribe and drop your verdict. Want the receipts, the filings, the fallout when Dad sues? I'll post everything next. New stories twice a week. Bring your line. Pace and rolling gaps map. 500 words. Here's how the heartbeat works under the skin. Because pace isn't speed, it's oxygen. I open with humiliation on a tray. Then I cut the air every 30 seconds with a new question you have to answer to breathe. First gap. Who forged the delegation? Before you can settle, I show the printer queue and the wrong font trimmer. That closes one door, opens the bigger one. Will the vote flip? You lean in, and I move the clock. 18 minutes to the toast turns the room into a metronome. Every ding is a threat. Every lull is a trapdoor. Survival counters hit where your pulse needs them. The ushers in the stairwell? That's the near loss. If I go dark, the merger slides through like a greased lie. Because I slip the rail and light the panic word, you get to keep breathing. That loop shuts enough to calm you, but I don't let you rest. I pull you into the mom letter beat. Breathing room, yes, but it's a razor in cotton. Her blue tape steadies my hand and yours, then drops the moral loop. Will I scorch the earth or keep the lights on? Rolling gap stack. I close forgery proof with audit trails on the screen, but I open the identity blade. Am I the villain? I don't answer until the counterparty reveal. When I say I am the stack, the tension peaks. You're not sure you like me, and that's the point. Sympathy turns to unease, then complexity when the rescue plan lands and payroll hums. Every time I give you one answer, I make you need the next. That's the rope. Pattern interrupts, keep your eyes from glazing. Humor snaps in right when the jaw locks. Ice run, hanger count steady, fonts don't lie. Then I slam you back into risk. Mic cut, radios hissing, stairwell metal in my palm. Energy dips on purpose. Mirror, letter, lamp glow. So the next sprint feels like a sprint, not a jog. Sentence rhythm follows the heart. Long to build, short to cut. You'll hear it when the mic warms. Hold. Now, see this. Personal stakes refresh on a timer. My mother's marginalia returns as a compass. The workers' rep raises a hand, and the whole room reframes. It's not just a family fight. It's a paycheck count. That keeps empathy in the bloodstream while the competition chews. Moral tension waits for Act 3 and then refuses easy applause. I say I became what I hate. That line doesn't end anything. It starts the question you take home. Tension peak sits where it should, at the reveal plus the cancel. I am the counterparty. The merger is dead. From there, I don't coast. I sprint through the autopsy so your doubt has something to chew on, then land the rescue plan with conditions sharp enough to draw blood. Final dip is the parking lot. Fog breath. Do not disturb. Bus doors. We end with ambiguity on purpose. You get receipts, not absolution. Rolling gaps close, but one stays open. What would you have done?